Viewer discretion is advised. Someone brought up an interesting question. That is, why didn't Brittany Bowens go home when she returned from Massachusetts? Because your ride did not arrive. And if my ride, which the person that I'm living with, did not arrive to pick me up, my first response would to be anyone that has come to pick me up is, hey man, take me by the house. Something's wrong because this boy is supposed to came by and pick me up. Something is wrong. And another interesting thing is that you said that you noticed that he was cleaning up the house with bleach. And he left and went and got more bleach, came back. I mean, during that time, you didn't ask, where was Malia? People say that it is not good to lie because you have to think of another lie to cover up the previous lie. And one thing about lies, you will forget them. The truth, you will never forget. And the more that you talk, the more you lie. When you return home from Massachusetts and your ride did not arrive, why didn't you call the police then? I mean, I would have, because I would have been worried. This person is supposed to come to pick me up. I can't get in contact with him. I don't know where he is. Could somebody please check it out? Just make sure everything's okay. You did none of that. It was like you was more concerned about the reputation of Derion than you were about the whereabouts of your child. There were things you could have told the police, but you didn't. You waited to tell Quanell X. And it's like, hey man, you are not in desperation to find your child because you let a lot of time elapse. Do you know that the more you speak, the digger hole you are digging for yourself, Miss Bowens? So my advice to you would be to just shut the hell up. Let your attorney do the talking. There's one other question that I hear no one bringing up, is that who was driving the car? Who dropped this maggot off at the hospital? And who parked the car in that parking space? Who are this maggot's close friends and associates? Where does he like to hang out? I'm quite sure he has several spots because all rats have more than one hole to run in. I don't know if he was at a relative's house for those few days that he was a fugitive, but wherever you picked him up from, what do those people have to say? What did he tell them when he came to them seeking refuge? Did they go through the car? I'm talking about thoroughly. I know that these maggots probably, tried to wipe all the fingerprints off the car, but like dumb criminals, they always make mistakes. I'm quite sure there's some type of evidence in that car to lead you to these punks. Maybe there's some carpet fiber off their shoe, or a piece of grass, or some type of vegetation, and you can locate where this vegetation doesn't grow in this area, it grows over here. There's something in that car that can lead you to this person that dropped off this maggot and went and parked his car. And when I think about it, it sounded like something a relative would do. Because only it seems like relatives would go all the way to help protect a maggot within their family. I don't really see that he has friends that would take this type of chance for him. So maybe it was a family member, maybe the people with the house he was at when you arrested him, those people need to be questioned thoroughly. What about the other apartment complexes and businesses in the area? What does their surveillance videos reveal? Or have you checked? What about this ex that this maggot had? Because when I look at Miss Bowens, no offense intended, but it is like you pay like you wait. And you were probably paying this guy. So whatever woman he was with in the past, he was probably still with that woman, just with you, just to get your money and drive your car and live in your house when he can't find somewhere else to live. But I've heard reports that they cannot locate this particular female. I have another question, is that when CPS was involved in their lives and they took the children from the home, they put them in another relative's home. Who was that relative? Why couldn't she have asked that particular relative to watch Malia for and the rest of the kids while she goes out of town? Because you set your own mouth if this guy is abusive. Usually I've noticed that these news outlets, they will be in their apartments questioning neighbors and asking them information about this particular couple. But I've seen none of that. They would interview and question people that know them. None of that. This is one of the strangest cases I have seen in years. How they're so hush-mouthed about it. Why aren't they even bringing up that there was another son in the home? I've read in a statement that Quantilex said that the body has been dismembered. But how do they know these things? I mean, is it purely speculation on his part, or does he actually know something? Why did EquiSearch call off the search? Not to be flip-flopping around, but it was reported that she could not take Malia with her to her father's funeral because they were financially strapped. But they just recently purchased that car. And why couldn't she just have got a title loan for that damn car so she can take her baby with her to her grandfather's funeral? Brittany Bowens said that her mother would come by and pick up the laundry, so he really didn't have to do no laundry. So that's why I'm saying is that Brittany Bowens was like one of these women that paid like she weighed, and she was paying to have this bum in her life. And you paid with your child's life. If you wanted to kind of like summarize this case, it would be by saying that these two parents were fed up with a sick child that they have to constantly care for, that they have to constantly take with them. They can't leave her any place because you got to bring her with you. She's too sick. And they got tired of that. And she left and went to Massachusetts, and this bum went on ahead and killed the little girl. And whether Miss Bowens realizes it or not, she is being set up for failure. I don't know if she might get some type of stiff charges, but as of now, her whole entire life is ruined. Who's gonna hire this woman and they recognize her? What guy is gonna date this woman and he recognizes her? Who wants to be friends with this woman and they recognize her? So her life is basically over. They already got this punk, Vence. So really, they're working on you too, ma'am. So let's say you should really reconsider as who you have surrounding you and who you have representing you. When you are selecting an attorney, you have to see what type of track record do they have. How many cases has he won? How many cases has he lost? The ones he lost, what type of time do these people get? And if you were to investigate that, I'm quite sure that you will reconsider who you have around you. But because of your stupidity, you don't know no better. So eventually, you're going to go down just like your sorry ass ex-fiance. The reason why attorneys really are against their clients speaking, first, because they don't know the law. Secondly, is because anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So you have some person in the crowd throws a question at her and she answered. There's something she should not be even speaking on. But because Mr. X is not an attorney, and because she does not have a real attorney that with her, she's saying a lot of things that is going to cause her to be arrested. People would really like to have some sympathy on Miss Bowens because it is just a tragic event. But we cannot have sympathy for Miss Bowens for the simple fact of is that she does not seem genuine. And she seems as if that she's full of lies. You say one thing, you backdoor, you say something else. You left your child with a guy that you said is abusive. So we just can't really trust what you say, and we just cannot have sympathy with you. It's impossible. You have people all over Houston that are just in bad spirits because of this case. It's very tragic. And we all feel as if that you let your child down. Because we know that there are some places you could have taken your child while you were in Massachusetts instead of leaving her with this maggot who you said out of your own mouth is abusive. And now you're trying to say who's gay and send out dick pictures to other men. But that's the same guy that you trust to watch your 3 children. Now the public has to wait way until the 10th. That's when this punk's court date is. But I'm quite sure a lot of things are going to happen between now and the 10th. I am really praying for all of the people that loved and cared about Malia. I'm also praying that somehow, although I know it is going to be nearly impossible, that we could be confident and somehow that we could make it through this bad ordeal.